Yo, what's up, guys? I'm doing some reading right now on some crazy stuff. So I'm reading up on the cognitive biases. So there's 25 of them. I'll be going in depth with the biases probably in another YouTube video, but get used to more videos like this. So one of the biases, what the cognitive biases are basically are the biases in our own minds that cause all of our worst decisions in life. They're really important to know because if you know them, you can avoid making terrible decisions, which is pretty cool. So, one of the cognitive biases that really stands out to me is the contrast bias. And a good example to display this bias is an analogy. So, picture a guy with 3 buckets of water in front of him. One of the buckets has cold water, another one has room temperature water, and a third bucket has hot water in it. He puts one of his hands into the hot bucket, another one of his hands, only has 2 hands hopefully, his other hand into the cold bucket and keeps them there for a minute. Then he takes both of his hands out and puts them both into the room temperature bucket of water. What happens? Well, the one hand feels hot, the other hand feels cold, right? The contrast from what they experienced before that room temperature bucket changes the current experience. So this applies to a lot of different areas of life. Like salesmen will use this to manipulate you, right? So a real estate broker will bring you to a terribly priced property, and you'll be like, wow, this is preposterous, and then it'll bring you to just a kind of bad price property, and you'll just buy it because compared to the other one, it wasn't nearly as bad, right? That's contrast bias, to having you make a bad decision, right? Another way you see this is in marriages, right? If you've had terrible relationship after terrible relationship after terrible relationship, and your fourth one is just a little improvement from the prior ones, you might just stick with it because you'll say, oh, it's better in contrast, right? Always be aware of what you're comparing your current decisions to based on your past experiences, because no matter how difficult your past experiences were in a certain area or how bad of an experience you had, it doesn't just mean that your next experience needs to be better than that. It can be completely different, right? Don't ever get trapped by the contrast bias, and limit your quality of life for that. So yeah, stay tuned for more cognitive bias videos so that we can all make better decisions in our lives and not get trapped into terrible marriages, hopefully. All right, have a good night.